Yes, I can see. If you
Okay.
can zoom in a little, that would be.
Like this?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's fine. It's fine. I can see.
Okay.
So yeah,
So,
if you scroll to the right,
mm,
which control, I mean, which of these questions you felt were of high risk?
I felt like the one that says the application customer facing was high risk.
Okay,
Yeah. And then
why? Why?
it is facing it is facing the internet, the customer, so there's a lot of things that could occur.
Okay, and what remediation can you think of?
I could think of controls, HTTPS, SL, LS, yeah.
HTTPS and
And LS, let me see, TLS.
TLS. Yeah,
Um,
no firewalls.
no, not that I thought of.
Okay, but yeah, uh, we have firewalls at both ingress and outgress. So yeah,
Mm,
ingress would be a customer facing or a uh, public network or a public IP that we have. So we do
okay.
filter out because have you heard about DDoS attacks?
Denial of service attacks?
Yeah,
Yeah,
distributed
okay, yes.
denial of service. So
Yes.
yeah, do you know what that is?
I know it, but I forgot the exact definition.
Okay, so let's say if you are running a company, you have a public website, you are Amazon, for example. People
Mm,
shop from your website. I
mm.
will do a DDoS attack on you so bad that not a real customer would be able to log in and order something. It will just be fake traffic that will be there. No one is ordering anything,
Oh,
but the real
okay.
customers cannot get in. So,
Mm.
yeah,
There's, I think there's DOS and there's DDoS. I think DDoS would be like attack on one system, like multiple systems attacking one system.
DDoS is multiple system.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
Yeah, distributed. It's
okay.
distributed denial of service. So I'll attack
Yeah.
all your systems, all your open. I'll just put so much traffic there that most of your resources are occupied.
Mm, okay.
Yeah. And what about API questions related to API here?
These ones is the data being transferred to other applications through the.
Yeah.
I think for this one, I chat GPT'd it and then it gave me a name. Because when they say name of API, I was a
Mhm.
little
But you
lost.
shouldn't be bothered about the name.
Mm,
It's just that you should understand the concept of API. What
yeah,
exactly is it?
yeah.
Do you understand it?
I kind of do, but I kind of don't.
Okay, means you don't. Uh, Tell me what you understand. I'll try to fill in the gaps.
So I GPT'd applications that transfer applications with access through API, and it gave me an example of Salesforce's API. So then I went from there, and then it handles secure data, secure transfer of user profile data, the front end, and the master database. So I
Mm,
answered based on that.
okay, but that's not essentially what an API is. Just try
Mm,
to understand the concept. So let's say if you are For example, whenever you make a payment, you book flights online.
Yes.
Okay. Um, do you generally go to the flights website itself, let's say Ryanair or whatever?
Sometimes I go to like an offshore website.
Okay. So yeah. So let's say whenever you are going to Ryanair and even in any other website that is a third party which is providing that service, when you go to payments, it redirects you to a MasterCard or a Visa link, right, for your card
Mm,
payments. So that's an API working there. API is basically you are redirected, you are going to a new system where the API is working as a bridge.
okay.
Understood? So it becomes
Yes.
very risky because you are leaving your system, you are leaving your environment, and then you are relying on someone else's.
Mm,
Okay. So that's why
mm,
API security is very important. I mean,
mm,
and again, for API, we have a lot of things that we can do. It's related to network security.
mm.
Just Google what is, I mean, after this session, Google what is API and try to understand what controls we can have, what are the network controls that we can have for APIs. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, and questions related to PII. Do you understand PII?
Personal information, personally identifiable information.
Right. What do you think? Are these high risk or medium, low, whatever?
I think they're high risk because personally identifiable information will be like your social security, your date of birth, stuff like that.
Yeah, it could be anything by which Vanessa can be identified online.
Mm,
So, yeah, it could be. I mean, people do have multiple phone numbers and everything, but still,
mm,
anything that can pinpoint to Vanessa on the internet. So
mm,
that would be your
okay.
PII. And what do you think? Are the PIIs high risk or low or medium?
I think they're high risk.
Okay, but you
I
haven't.
forgot to fill that in.
Okay. Let's say if I tell you to protect a customer's PII, whatever data you have taken, how would you do that?
I will do multi-factor authentication and RBAC.
Mm, but that's access to your systems, right? Multi-factor authentication is an access-related control. Same is
Mm,
RBAC. But I'm saying, let's say if you are storing customers' data, how are you going to make sure that you are storing it right? How are you going to make sure that that data won't be leaked or something? That
I,
doesn't require RBAC or
okay, okay.
MFA. Yeah,
Okay, I hear you. I think I would either store it in an encrypted database or use secure cloud storage.
yeah, makes sense. So yeah, that's perfect answer.
Okay,
Uh, yeah, if you can scroll down a little, I'll just
okay.
try the user access reviews, something that's of importance. You have SSL TLS certificates mentioned that you already discussed. Uh, if you go down a bit more,
Can I just ask about, is the data center application hosted located outside of India? Can you please
Mhm.
explain that one?
Yeah, so it could be two cases for me. First is,
Mm,
let's say because this risk assessment was for a bank, India-based bank. Uh, so banks in India are not allowed to store their customers' data outside of India. Okay, they are
mm,
mandated to keep all the customers' data in India itself because it's our financial data, right? If let's say I have a bank account with XYZ Bank and they know all my financials. I've done my KYC, I have uploaded my documents, shared my, I mean, they have my whole financial profile. And that's
Mm,
why we have a regulator here. It's called RBI. It has put on restrictions on banks that you cannot put your data on offshore. So
mm,
that's how it's a high risk area for me, because if you put my data outside of India, first thing is regulator is going to fine you pretty bad. You have to pay the penalty. And second thing is that chances of data leaks are even more, because now your data is not in your jurisdiction, right?
mm,
You have sent out your data to some other country. I don't know if that country goes to war tomorrow and whatever happens to my data, uh, you should have something. I mean, the primary data should be in India. As far as a replica is considered, we can have a replica in some other geography, but that should be a country which we can trust.
mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Uh, go below. What do you think about question that is in front of row 37? Does the application allow individual to access, update, or delete information on request?
I think, well, what is the kind of information?
Any information to company is important. You cannot,
Okay, yes.
yeah, you
Oh,
cannot, yeah,
okay, that would be a high risk if it allows the individual to access,
right.
update, or
If
delete.
anyone can delete something, it's a high risk area. Okay. Uh,
So anyone is in or outside the company, doesn't matter.
outside the company should not have access to update, modify, delete data. They should only have read access.
Mm,
Other
okay.
than that, they shouldn't have any other access. But if we are talking even within the company, deleting something for deleting something, I don't think anyone should have access to that either.
Mm,
Okay,
okay.
because if someone is, let's say, if I'm able to delete some logs, for example, I did something malicious to my company and I have the rights to delete those logs. I delete those logs. Who is going to trace me, right?
Okay, okay, okay.
So generally, we do not give anyone access to delete anything. It's like you cannot delete. You can just create data, put more data, but you should not delete.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah. Uh, just a second. Uh, go down. You see that question in front of row 46. Now, can you relate that to what we discussed about API?
Is the data being transferred outside access environment through
So
API?
Axis
So,
Axis is an Indian bank.
okay.
Yeah,
So they're basically saying, is the data being transferred to a third-party website through the access
right.
environment?
So now you understand. And because my data is going to some other website through
Mm,
an API, you see question 49, which makes sense that details of what data is collected in the API, what are we sharing,
mm,
purpose, why are we sharing,
mm,
partner with whom API details. You understood, right? I mean, if you look at these questions, you will have your answers to why API security is important.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Go down a little. Okay, wait here. Look at row 56, 55. Vendor supporting applications. Uh,
Mm.
how do I rely on my vendor?
In
If I
terms
have
of,
a win in terms of security, in terms of
mm,
risk, so let's say I have a business, I am running a business, but Vanessa is one of my vendors who helps me with billing. Okay.
mm,
Whenever I want to bill a customer, I am
mm,
redirected to Vanessa's website or I
mm,
use Vanessa's product for
mm,
billing. How do
mm.
I rely on Vanessa's product?
Some of your data goes there.
I am doing my entire billing on your platform, on your product.
Mm,
It's not some, it's all my data related to billing in your software.
mm.
So how do I rely on you?
Let me think.
Hint is that this is something we have talked about.
Mm.
It was a
Wouldn't
yeah,
wouldn't that count as a subservice?
kind of. It's not a sub service, it's almost a direct service that I'm taking from you.
Um, so that would be a user entity.
I am the user entity because I am using your product,
S- Yes. So the companies whose product you're using would be the service organization.
right? You are providing me service, so you are my service organization. How do I rely on you? It's pretty easy. I'll ask for your SOC report. That's it.
You are?
I will ask for your SOC report, SOC 1, SOC 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Makes sense. Can you connect these dots?
Yes. Okay. I've connected them now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
because I will ask for your SOC reports so that I'll be able to rely on you securely.
Because I'm totally relying for my billing on your software, I will ask
Yeah.
you a SOC report that, hey, give me your software SOC report. I'll see what controls are there. I'll see if I can rely completely on your controls or not, on your software or
Okay.
not.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember that.
Make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, so whenever you are going, mark my words, write this down. Whenever you are going for any interview,
Mm,
keep this concept very clear in your head because people are going to ask you that. If you
okay.
mention GRC and somewhere you mention SOC 1, SOC 2, people are going to bug you about this question. So, yeah,
Mm,
just make
okay.
a note of it and keep a very clear mental picture of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go down a bit.
This is where it ends, I think.
Okay, let's see. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Just go through the API sections again.
Okay.
Uh, did you also understood what compensating controls are?
Generally,
Compen- Yeah, in general and maybe with an example.
yes, I understood what compensating controls are.
Give me an example.
In what scenario?
Whatever you can think of in security scenario, not uh, in my day-to-day life. In terms of security,
An example would be administrative management.
be specific. What is the compensating control when you say administrative?
Okay.
First, you tell me the concept.
So basically, compensating controls, it's basically an alternative control security measurement implemented when the primary control is too difficult or like too impractical to deploy. So like
Yeah,
a technical example would be using network segmentation like VLANs And then like an administrative example would be using enhanced monitoring.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. And now, last question to you before we start with today's session.
Mm.
What are complementary user entity controls?
Complementary user entity controls are the controls that the user entity should also have in order to ensure security, their own security, and also the service organization security.
Give me, explain with an example.
Okay. An example would be timely account removal and regular monitoring and assessment of accounts.
Mm, more detail, please.
Like let's say an employee leaves, they have to a control on the user entity side would be to like an alert on when the user exits so that they can remove the account in
Alert,
like let's say
alert,
24.
alert where? Alert to whom?
They will alert the service organization.
The user
And
entity will alert the service organization.
yes, about the account that has been removed. They will deal with it, but like they will alert the service organization
Okay.
as well.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Okay, I think we are good with the first three modules. I'll start with SAP GRC today. Let's start with the basics first. You
Okay.
understand what you need to look at in the lab, then we'll go to the lab. Okay?
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, and
Okay, so the lab won't give any outputs, the ones that they've provided us.
yeah, but you can get a look and feel of the
Mm.
UI.
Okay. So we're gonna do that later.
Yeah, we are going to do that at the very end because
Okay.
first I want you to go understand this concept
Mm.
because this is bit complex and technical. So you need to be,
Okay.
yeah, first you need to understand this. If I just open the lab today and tell you everything,
Mm.
you won't get anything. What I want is first you understand the basics, you
Mm.
understand what we are looking at when you log into SAP, and then
Mm.
at last, when once we have covered all the T codes that generally, I mean, that are very important
Mm.
while doing SAP GRC.
Mm.
Once you have understood those T codes, whenever we log into that SAP lab, I want you to tell me those T codes. Let's say if I'll tell you, hey Vanessa, I want to look at, let's say, let's look at the changes in the audit period. So you
Mm.
should be able to tell me that, hey Harsh, this is the T code for change management to pull out the change requests. That's what I
Mm.
want. It's if I do everything, I mean, this training would be over like in an hour because
Yeah.
I know the T codes, right? You don't, and you
Mm.
need to understand what we are doing, why we are doing. So it's very important for
Mm.
you.
Mm.
Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Uh, okay. Let's begin. So first we'll start with what exactly is SAP. You can see the slide, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So first we'll start with what SAP exactly is. So
Mm.
in Germany, this is a German software.
Mm.
In Germany, they call it System Application and Products in Data Processing. So uh, SAP is System Application and Products. Okay.
Mm.
And to give you a brief, we'll read through the slides later, but it is a centralized ERP platform that
Mm.
integrates every core of business process. Okay.
Mm.
So from finance to procurement to sales, HR, everything into one database. If you remember, I told you this in the very first class also that SAP is you understand what ERP is, right? Enterprise Resource Planning
Enterprise
Software.
resource. Yeah.
Yeah. So SAP is a very widely used ERP system,
Mm.
and it integrates every core business process. Try understanding that. that every core business process is finance, procurement, sales, HR,
Mm,
inventory. Okay, everything is there on one database, on one platform. That's what SAP is. Okay, so
mm,
this integration provides real-time visibility because you have all your data there. It's updated as per the logic you have put in. But it also means because you have all your data in one place, it also means that if you don't have the right controls in place, I
mm,
mean, someone could exploit your company's financial standing just by having one entry point into SAP system. So let's say if you are a real SAP user and I somehow have your credentials and I am able to log into whichever company you work, I am able to log into that company's SAP system. I can
mm,
have a look at all financial data. Okay,
mm,
depending on what accesses you have,
mm,
I can do so many things there, so many bad things. Okay,
mm.
so you
Okay.
got the gist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at the slide. What it stands for, I already told you. SAP is an ERP platform that integrates business processes. All business transactions are stored in a centralized database. Okay, and
Okay.
then it ensures real-time financial reporting and operational visibility. Make sense?
Yes.
So now coming to this is SAP ECC versus SAP S/4HANA.
Mm-hmm.
ECC is something that we used to have previously, um,
Mm,
but majority of the industry has shifted from SAP ECC, which was a very
mm,
traditional suite, to SAP S/4HANA. The
mm-hmm.
key difference is that SAP S/4HANA runs in memory database. Okay, so
Mm.
basically, earlier for ECC, the data was stored somewhere else. But
Okay.
when S/4HANA came, it means that data is stored in the RAM rather than on a traditional hard drive. So in memory, that's the tagline for HANA. It's an in-memory database. Okay. So
Okay.
whatever
Okay.
data that you see on the platform, it's also stored in the same database. Okay, so
Okay. Okay.
how it helps, it is not pulling data from somewhere else. It allows faster fetching of data, real-time visualization, faster analytics, and a simplified data model. Okay,
Mm.
and from audit perspective, HANA changes how we look at performance. And basically, because you have so much data in SAP, I mean, I remember when we used to run a few T codes and we used to extract those reports. Uh, it would take somewhere around 20 minutes to extract even an Excel file. So you have so much data there. And when we were using ECC, you have to pull that data from some other server. That would be an effort. I mean, fetching that data from some other place to your system and then from your system to your personal laptop. I mean,
Mm.
downloading that data, it was a headache for us. Now
Mm.
with HANA, what has changed is that the data is there. You don't need to fetch from a third place. The data is there. You just need to download
Mm.
it. Although the files
Okay.
are huge in HANA, but you
Mm.
just need to download that there. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, I'll tell you the structure of SAP. It's a
Mm.
three-layer structure. We can call it
Oh,
the
yes.
architecture. Yeah, we can call it the architecture as well. The presentation, application, and database layer.
Mm.
Presentation layer is the interface like the SAP GUI.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
where you do everything. That's my presentation layer.
Mm.
The application layer is where the business logic is executed. So let's say
Mm-hmm.
whenever you click, because in SAP, like I told you, everything is related to finance, okay, financial
Mm-hmm.
data, etc., etc. So whenever
Mm-hmm.
you click post this JV, post this invoice, post this entry, the application server processes that request. So that's your
Mm.
application layer there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a database layer, which is basically where your master data is stored, the transaction logs are stored. So that's your basically a repository. So that's your database layer.
Mm.
Okay. So,
Okay.
just to, I mean, I'll cover this in detail uh, throughout this next modules, but to give you an example right now, for example,
Mm.
tomorrow, whenever you are auditing or you are looking at SAP GRC, you
Mm.
not only look at the presentation layer, you also look at the logic which resides in the application layer, and then you
Mm.
verify that with verify whatever you are seeing in the presentation layer, which is your kind of output that you are seeing. You need to
Mm.
verify that somewhere in the database layer as well. Okay.
Mm. Okay.
For example, if I can see Vanessa as a user in my SAP GUI, I would want to understand whether uh, let's say this is not a very good example, but for example, if I am able to see a list of logs on my SAP GUI, I would also ask the company that I'm auditing that, hey, can you show these logs stored in the database as well?
Okay.
Okay, because database is my ultimate source of truth, because the whatever the presentation layer, whatever data it is pulling, it is actually pulling from the database itself, right?
Mm. Okay.
Presentation, a GUI doesn't have a storage of its own, it's pulling data from somewhere else.
Yes.
So I sometimes for a few controls, I need to see that source of truth as well, from where the
Mm.
data is getting pulled.
Mm.
Make
Okay.
sense?
Yes. Remember when you said like these days each company has their own ERP?
Hmm.
So is S4 HANA specific to SAP or like does each company have its own HANA similar to HANA?
No, no, SAP is a company altogether. It's just one
Yeah.
company and one ERP system.
Okay.
Uh, Other companies, Oracle has its own ERP. It doesn't uses SAP. Microsoft
Okay.
doesn't uses SAP. AWS, I don't think uses SAP. Cisco never uses SAP.
Mm. Okay.
So that's why I told you in the very first session itself,
Mm.
don't understand SAP GRC in terms of SAP only. It's good to know SAP GRC, but think of it in terms of GRC. Okay, remove the
Okay.
word SAP from your mind and think of it in terms of GRC. In any GRC system, in any ERP system, these
Mm.
three layers would be there: application, presentation, and database. Okay,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
think whatever I'm telling you right now, think of it in those terms that let's say if tomorrow you are working in a company which doesn't use SAP.
Mm.
Okay, then what will you do? You can't tell
Mm.
your manager that, hey, I only know SAP GRC. I can't
Mm.
help you with any other thing. So you need to
Mm.
understand GRC. You
Mm.
can relate it to SAP or whatever, but you need to understand the basics of GRC.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's read through the slides. SAP ECC is the traditional ERP suite widely used for decades. HANA is the modern version built on the HANA in-memory database, something that I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It enables faster analytics. Why?
Because it's an in-memory
Yeah,
database, it's not a separate.
it's not storing data somewhere else. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the major shift for HANA. I have
Okay.
seen organizations going through that phase where they were moving from ECC to HANA. So yeah, I have seen that as well.
Mm.
As it is mentioned, many organizations are migrating to S4 HANA for digital transformation. So yeah, more
Mm.
efficiency and everything. Three layer of SAP architecture. I already talked about these. Let's just read through it. SAP, the presentation layer is the GUI, or the
Mm.
sometimes we also call it the Fiori interface, but uh,
Mm.
it's okay. Application layer, SAP application servers executing business logic. Okay. This is where my
Okay.
logic is stored. So, for example, if someone, uh, for example, understand that if I'm clearing an invoice which is
Mm,
of $1 million,
mm,
I would have set a logic in SAP that if the amount is greater than $500,000, it needs to go through three levels of approval.
mm,
Okay, so my invoice is of $1 million. It should ideally go through three levels of approval.
mm.
How would it go through it? Because I have set this logic in the application layer.
Okay.
So uh, whatever GRC ERP system you are using, if you are kind of managing that end to end, um, whichever interview you are giving, you can tell them that, hey, I would look at what logic is there, what logic, by which logic the business flow is going through,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and where that logic is stored,
Mm.
okay.
Okay. Quick
Then
question.
data,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
What is meant by the part that says or theory interface?
Fiori is like we call SAP GUI.
Mm.
Another name is Fiori.
Oh, so it's just another name.
Yeah, it's another name.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, Now coming to database layer, stores master data, like I told you,
Mm.
right? My source of truth would be the database layer,
Mm.
transaction data and configuration. So anything that is hard coded into the system would be at the database layer. You
Mm-hmm.
understand this point? This is very important.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So this layered architecture ensures scalability and separation of responsibilities because there are different people responsible for each layer, right?
Mm.
And it's easier for us to also look at a particular layer from for whatever reasons we have.
Mm.
Okay, make sense?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, Moving ahead. So now coming to SAP system landscape. What are the different landscape that we have? So um, this is basically why are we doing this? So we ensure that the system remains, I mean, we use a landscape, a series of environments that separate building from doing kind of. It's like that. Have you
Mm.
heard of any of these environments before? Development, QA, prod, or never
No,
heard of them?
but the dev part,
Hmm.
um, I don't know if this is relevant to it, but is it, when they say DevSecOps, is that the dev part they're referring to?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what they are referring to, but
Okay.
it has SecOps in front of it, so it makes the definition altogether different.
Okay. Okay. I was just wondering. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's dev and DevSecOps is tied very thinly by a very thin thread. So
Mm, okay.
I'll not try to correlate these two, but
Okay.
uh, yeah. So
Okay.
basically, in SAP, or in generally in most of the ERP systems that I have seen,
Mm,
there are different environments. Okay,
mm,
why are these environments created? To segregate your workflow. Okay, so whatever you are
mm.
building to your final outcome, there should be segregations. Okay, you cannot. Have you heard that my production code just, I mean, we are bug debugging. There's a bug in production. Have you heard these terms?
No.
Okay. Okay. Understand this concept very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
There are generally three environments in most of the ERP systems: development, QA, and production. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So development is where you develop things, as the name says, development. Okay. This is where the developers and configuration teams build new features.
Mm. Mhm.
They they work here, they write endless number of codes to build a new feature. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
So anything that is getting built, it starts from development. It cannot start in the
Mm.
prod environment.
Mm.
Okay. Everything starts from production. Sorry, development. My bad.
Okay. Okay.
Then it moves to quality, where which is which is a mirror of the live environment, which is my prod environment, and this is specifically for testing.
Mm.
Can you repeat what is QA for?
Specifically for testing.
And it's a replica of my prod environment.
Okay.
Okay, prod environment is my live system, which is my real business, where my real business is happening, where my real users are able to log in, where
Mm.
my real customers have access to. So that's my prod environment. Now you
Mhm.
understand which is the most important environment as per you.
Okay.
Tell me, answer this question, which is the most important environment you think out of these three?
Um, I think it would be the production system, the life system used by business users.
Why? Whenever you give me an answer, give me a why
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. Well, firstly, it's live, and when they say business users, is it the people within the business?
It could be anyone within the business, outside my
Mm.
business, my customers, anyone.
Okay, yes, then that's the one.
Yeah. So let's say if my CEO wants to look at some data, he would just log into prod. Why would he log into development where things are getting built? Or why would he log into quality where we are testing what we have built?
Mm.
Right? He would directly jump onto the production to look at anything or any feature, whether it's working fine or not.
Mm.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now just let's read through the slides. So development system is used by developers and configuration teams, used for testing configuration changes. So whatever features that are built in the development, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
development and understand it in these terms. For example, um, I mean, if I have to give you an analogy, I'm just trying to think of something. Uh, for example, if you are using an Apple phone, okay,
Mm-hmm.
someone first develops a new iPhone in the development environment. They put together what new design. Apple doesn't do any new features that much, but uh, development is where they decide what new features are going to be there, where should we position the camera, what should we name at this time, what new can we
Mm-hmm.
do. Okay, that's how in the development they have put together a phone. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then that phone goes to quality, where whatever you have done in development, it is then tested whether the cameras are working right, whether the phone is passing all the benchmarks or not, is the
Mm-hmm.
glass durable, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
then production is when the iPhone is finally out in the stores for customers to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So for an iPhone, the production system would be in this analogy, it would be the shop where it is getting
Mm-hmm.
sold.
Okay.
So now you can relate, right? Now think of
Mm.
it in software terms. If you have a software, how would you go about it? You
Okay.
first create a feature in the dev. and then push it to quality for checking, and then you push it in the real system where people can actually use that particular feature from your software.
Mm.
Make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. And now changes move across these systems through transport requests. Very important
Mm.
word in SAP. Transport
Mm-hmm.
requests. So, how do I explain this? I mean, whenever things go from one environment to a different environment, it is called a change request or a transport request because
Mm-hmm.
we are transporting one thing from one place to a different place.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's why it is called a transport request. We'll look at this in detail. Every day, a big company would push like 1,000 transport requests every day. So imagine if you are pulling that data for an entire year, how many lines of data are you going to get? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah, 365 into 1,000. So
Oh.
you'll have, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you understood what transport requests are.
Yes, I get the gist.
Okay. Um, let's move ahead. Uh, okay. So I'll just try to give you a brief about the transport request. So basically, the movement of changes between these systems is controlled by the transport request. We use transactions like SE09, SE10 to manage these. Okay, these are
Okay.
actual T codes that you can run in SAP, SE09, SE10. You have to kind of memorize, or in today's world, I don't think we need to memorize anything, but we need to know what we are using something for.
Oh,
So
okay, okay, okay. So why is a T code called a T code?
it's a
Is the
transaction
T
code.
for transport or transaction?
Yeah, it's a transaction code.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, so as an auditor or a security professional, your focus is to look at the unauthorized changes.
Mm.
Okay. If I'm
Okay.
if a developer moves a change directly to production without an approval log in the transport system, that is a major
Mm.
compliance red flag. I mean, you can have repercussions that you cannot even think of.
Mm.
Makes sense. Tell me why
Okay.
is this important? You tell me why is this important?
Which part? This slide?
Yeah, why do we need a transport management? Why can't we just have, I mean, what's the point of tracking this?
I think the point of tracking it is to ensure an orderly fashion
Hmm.
and also for the sake of control and proper approval.
Okay, yeah. So you are right, for the sake of control part makes sense. Um, if I'm able to, because you're getting the seriousness of it, right? For example, if I can make changes to an interface which all my customers in the world are using, I can
Mm.
do anything, right? For
Mm.
example, I remove the payment button, I remove the add to cart button. In
Mm.
AWS, you whenever you buy something, you add it to cart, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if I push a change request there, which removes the add to cart button? You want to buy something, but you don't have any button to check out. How would that feel, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we go through all these three environments. First, I'll need to build that in development. Someone
Mm.
approves that there that hey, it's okay to go into testing, QA.
Mm.
Someone tests that and tells me that hey, yeah, actually we can remove the add to cart,
Mm.
but That's not ideal, right? But if someone
Yeah.
approves that and I push that into production, all my customers are, I mean, helpless. They cannot buy. They
Mm.
can see my products, but they cannot buy. So
Okay.
you understood why a transport management is very important at different levels. Now you tell me, should we have the same person approving everything, or should we have different persons at every level?
No, I think we should have different persons at every level.
Yeah. And let's say if I am writing the code in development, should I be able to push that into production or quality? Should I be able
No.
to approve my own code?
No.
Okay, why not? I can push it in production. After all, I have written the code. You haven't. At least if I have your confirmation, why can't I post it into production?
Well, you could, but I don't think it would be ideal. I think you
Why?
need different people at different levels.
Okay. Yeah, you are right. Uh, so in SAP or in SOX audit, uh, whatever, I mean, whenever you are testing change related controls, you always check that developers don't have access to production.
Mm.
Someone who is building that feature should not have the rights to push that into production. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
major control failure.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So this is just general, but let's say if that add to cart button was actually removed, what would be used in place of that?
That's what business need to think about. If I'm approving something that add to cart button is to be removed, I should
Mm.
have thought of a backup, right?
Mm.
Something else. If I haven't, I'm just jeopardizing my business.
Mm.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I would put there. Oh my God. But yeah.
Do yeah. I mean, you don't need to
Yeah.
bother what you would put there. It's just that you
Yeah.
need to understand that it could be a risk for any company. That
Yeah.
if a developer can do anything in the prod environment, that could be a major risk to the company,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
If
Okay.
let's say if I am a developer and I'm leaving the company tomorrow, okay,
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow is my last day in the company, I'll just log into production and I'll make this change. A very minor change in the code that whenever someone is trying to add something to cart, it just doesn't add up. You
Mm.
can still see that button that hey, add to cart. But when you are going to your cart, the product is not there. I'll just change one line in my code. In 10,000 lines of my code, I'll just change one line and you'll face this particular problem. So
Mm.
that's that. Now you can relate it to the controls that we discussed, let's say access deprovisioning. Now you
Mm.
understand why is it so important to remove that particular user within the timeline that we have decided in the policy.
Yeah.
Okay.